Good evening and good day, whatever time it is for you. I'm grateful that you're here. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you. Welcome in, welcome in. If you're new here, my name is Tara. I'm going to be your host for this evening. And if you are a vet and you've been around for the whole time, I'm so glad you're here. I really appreciate your support. Matt Torrance dropped in earlier. He clocked in at 4 o'clock today. Thanks for coming in, Matt. It's nice to see you. Hey, whoever just popped in, Anne Marie Bliss in the house. Hey, Anne Marie, nice to see you. So today, well, first of all, I'm interested in hearing, here, let me explain the title. Let me just explain. So I was doing some meditation today, and just the idea of making space for good things in life came to me. And I thought to myself, okay, so there could be good things in life, like literally good things, like people, places, things. On the flip side, I feel like we could look at this like making space for good things. We could make this about making space for good, like in perpetuity. So making space for good to me means a couple different things. Hey, Kimmy, nice to see you. Welcome in, friend. Nice to always see you. So we're talking about making space in life for good. In meditation today, I'm like, okay, there's two ways I could look at this. There's making space for good, like forever. And then there's making space for good, like good things, good nouns, people, places, things. So just full disclosure, I have recently run into some turbulence in life, and I'm okay. I'm handling it. I'm managing it. I have decided that I am going to learn from this. Righteous Monkey, what up? It's so nice to see you in here. How you been, Righteous? I also want to know how y'all make space for good in life. Let me back up. I ran into some turbulence in my personal life, and I have made a decision to learn from this. At first, it felt really uncomfortable. It was painful. But now, in retrospect, now that I've been really spending some quality time with myself and practicing self-care, I have realized that this is an opportunity to learn. It's an opportunity for me to let go of things that are in the way of the things that I want and to focus on what's going well in my life. My throat, I need to take a little sip of water here. Bear with me. So I have made a decision to focus on what I want based on what I have learned over the past 24 hours. And what I have decided I want to focus on is Rev Rashim in the house. Hey, Rev, nice to see you. You said I'm looking lovely. I appreciate that very much, Rev. It's nice to always hear good things from people. I really appreciate that. It ties into exactly my next point, my point of focus now that I have decided to focus on good and making space for good things to come in. My focus is on bringing in supportive relationships, relationships that are reciprocal and healthy for both parties, not just for me, but for both parties. Drew in the house. Hey, Drew, welcome in, friend. Nice to see you. Rev, do you consider yourself a people pleaser? Interesting question, Rev. I'm curious why you asked. You don't have to answer that question, but I am curious why you asked. So yes, I am in fact, or have in the past, been a people pleaser. In terms of psychology, there are several types of trauma responses. There's fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. Fawn being people pleasing, let me get the door for you. Let me make you some cookies. Let me do all of these things to show you that I'm on your side, right? So yes, I have in fact people pleased in my life, and I don't know that I'll ever be able to let that go about myself, to be frank. I really enjoy doing things for other people. I think there is a line though, and it ties into what we're talking about today, where people pleasing can be hurtful. It can, I have allowed boundaries to be crossed before because of people pleasing, and it's got me into some trouble in the past. So, yes, I am in the past have been a people pleaser. Um, I think it's a blessing and a curse, honestly. I think that there are some positive aspects of caring about other people and their experience. And then I think there are some times where it causes some problems. So, yes, I am guilty as charged of people pleasing. Rev. Slow mo in the house. What's up, yo? How you doing, Slow mo? It's always nice to see you, friend. Rev, one of my goals for me is to work on my rejection issues. I'm so glad you brought this up, Rev. It is so easy when things get rough, especially with people, right? Especially with people to experience, like for me, it's abandonment issues. Even as I say the word abandonment, my mouth is getting super dry. So I'm going to take a drink. I too deal with abandonment issues, Rev. And I think what's really helping me, um, as a matter of fact, I'm coping right now with, my therapist calls it abandonment wounds. So I'm focusing on making room for what's good in my life rather than focusing on the pain of, what happened or the person who left. Or it's like, okay, it might just be for the better that this is happening, because what I want in my life is supportive, reciprocal, healthy relationships. So if someone's walking out on us, are they feeding into that goal, that intention of having supportive, reciprocal, healthy relationships? Not to say that they won't come back in and that it might improve the relationship, because sometimes I think turbulence does make us stronger. We can display resilience uh, when turbulence comes in by bouncing back stronger than we were before. Sometimes, though, we have to let people go. So I think it's just a matter of assessing, for me, anyways, it's a matter of assessing, is this a supportive relationship? Is it reciprocal? Is it healthy? And it makes it easier to let whoever it is that abandoned us go, in my opinion, if we can answer those questions honestly. Marky Rizzo in the house, Keta Queen. That's right. That is an honor. I am honored to be the Keta Queen. Marky, I'm so glad you're here. How does it feel to have been to have made it past your tests and not have to worry about that? Well, not worry. How does it feel to not have to study for those anymore? Drew says being in a relationship with a narcissist will get you in trouble. Being a people pleaser really quick. That is so true, Drew. And I think I tend to, just in retrospect, like I do tend to attract and be attracted to people who have those types of tendencies. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Uh, you're right. You're absolutely right, Kimmy, but um, um, not every a-hole is a narc. I agree with that, Kimmy. You're right. I was just having this conversation with someone else, and I've heard you say this before. Just because someone has narcissistic tendencies doesn't mean that they have narcissistic personality disorder. People can do crappy things and be crappy people and not be narcissists. We use that term too much, I feel. And I agree with you, Kimmy. Yep, I totally agree, Mo. I don't believe in labeling people as narcissists either. I think it's accurate to say narcissistic tendencies. We all have them. Everyone has narcissistic tendencies. In fact, it's healthy. It's a healthy, normal thing to have narcissistic tendencies, but you're right. You're absolutely right. Narcissistic personality disorder is a diagnosis. And that's not something that I use in my regular life because I'm not a therapist. I'm not trained to give diagnoses. Um, I'm gonna call you Artie. I think you agreed on the proudly ignorant in the house. Hey, proudly ignorant. Nice to see you. Um, Artem, I think is how you pronounce your name, but someone was like, "Can we call you Artie?" And you said yes. So I like Artie just so that I don't butcher the name. Artie says, "Hi Tara, I have a pretty hard time making space for things. Every change is taking a long time to make, but it does feel like things do happen, just very gradually." Absolutely, Artie. Understand. Um, I understand having it be a challenge to wait for change to happen. Personally, I'm getting better at appreciating the journey. I think the journey is what it's all about here. So, in terms of people pleasing, I see Marky. Marky says Tara aims to please. Yeah, I can't help it. It's ingrained in me um, to want to help people, to want to serve people, to want to support. Um, at the same time, I do have to be careful because um, it gets me in trouble. It's gotten me in trouble a lot before, and in fact, I think it can interfere with relationships. And I'm working on adjusting that about myself, but not eliminating it because I think it can be a strength. But every strength, they say, like your greatest strength is tied to your greatest weakness. And I would say people pleasing is definitely a strength and a weakness. Artie is fine. Okay, proudly ignorant. I'm going to go with Artie because I can pronounce that confidently. Drew, yeah, you're right, but I just meant in general, there are people that prey on nice people. Yeah, Drew, and I've certainly experienced this before and not even seen it coming. Um, that is why I'm focusing on relationships that are, I'm going to say it again. I moved my page, but I'm focusing on relationships that are supportive, reciprocal, and healthy. That is what I want to focus on. Even though I have run into some challenges this week, I am thankful that I am able to look at it as a learning experience and to shift my focus from what happened to shifting my focus to relationships with supportive, reciprocal, and healthy people. Another thing that came to me that I'd like to focus on, and also let me know. So, before I continue this, I'm curious as to what it is, and some of you have told me this already, but tell me what it is that you're focusing on to make space for good. Like, how are you adjusting your life in 2024 to allow good things to come in? Or how could you do that? If I'm really curious as to hear what other people's strategies for this is. I'm going to share with you some of the things I wrote down that I'm going to be trying, and I'm really interested to know what you think. How can we create space to let good things in? Artie says, "Oh, Drew said I used to care way too much what people think." Absolutely. I think as a recovering people pleaser, if you will, I used to also care what other people thought. I don't so much anymore. I mean, I care that people see that I'm doing the best that I can and that I want to be supportive and a good friend, a good citizen, all of that. But I can't, not everybody is going to like me. And that's okay. I am in acceptance of that today. It was hard to get there, but I'm cool with that. Drew, you said you used to care too much about what people think. How did you get past that? And Mo agrees. Mo, same question to you. How did you get past caring what other people think? And it looks like we've got 5 likes so far. I feel super weird about asking this because my people pleaser tendency, it's like hit it if you want, don't hit it, but please hit the like button. It helps me tremendously. It pushes this live out into the algorithm so that people know we're here. If you're here for support, please tell me what's going on with you. Uh, if you're here to give support, welcome in. I really appreciate that. We're talking about making room or making space for good in life. And in the beginning, I mentioned that this could be perceived in a couple different ways. We can be making space for good things like nouns, people, places, or things, or we could be making space for good, like for good, forever, for in perpetuity. And I thought that was an interesting way, like a play on words where it could be looked at either way. So Artie says, I feel like having supportive relationships is exactly what I need in my life as well right now. That's the main thing I'm trying to make happen currently. Funny that we would be in the same place at the same time, Artie. How are you doing that? Um, for me, something that I did today was I meditated. And I've been meditating a little bit in meetings that I've been going to, but I actually did my own meditation practice today where I put on a tone. I sat in silence and listened to that tone, and that brought me peace. I think that coming to a state of peace like that helps me draw in people who are also at peace. It's just my perspective. I'm interested though, Artie, to know how you're doing that. What strategies are you using? Mo says, on people that prey on people, these are those types of peeps. Yeah, right. Or there are those types of peeps. 100% Mo. There are those types of peeps, and it's I'm getting better at seeing them come, but sometimes I'm just completely blindsided and I did not see it coming. Kimmy says, this is why we get to choose our friends. Support is just one benefit inherent of a friendship. Yeah, a real friendship. I agree with that. I agree with that. Sometimes though, it's hard to until stuff really hits the fan, until like an actual disagreement comes up, I think it can be challenging to know who's got your back and who doesn't. But once you see it, you can't unsee it. Like there would have to be some sort of reconciliation to be able to um, what's the word? I mean, I can forgive without reconciliation, but I think reconciliation is necessary for a friendship to continue um, after something challenging comes up in a friendship. And Drew said it's so hard to tell. Uh, I'm the beginning. I'm in the beginning too because those people seem so kind in the beginning. Yeah, people show their best selves in the beginning, and like I was just saying, it's not until shit really hits the or excuse me, until stuff really hits the fan that we see people's true colors. I mean, they come out eventually. People, and nobody's perfect. Like, I certainly don't expect anyone to be perfect, but I think in terms of friendships, it's normal for things to come up. It's normal for disagreements to happen, but true friends real friends will reconcile and work through it. Drew says, being in a relationship with someone who took advantage of me. I was always the nice guy. I still am nice. I'm just more careful with trusting people. That seems like a pretty good strategy, Drew. I need to get better at trusting people. I personally tend to trust until, um, but I think your strategy of giving it time, taking time to go through that process makes a lot of sense. Something that I've been working on with my therapist is discernment. It's not always easy for me to spot the predators or spot the people who aren't a good match for me. So something I've been working on is my ability to discern and recognizing sooner rather than later. Yeah, and that takes experiences. That takes shared experiences, I think, to get to that point where I'm practicing discernment. I'd be interested to hear y'all's take on discernment and if that's something that you're able to do in the beginning of a relationship, or is that something that comes as a function of experiencing things with someone? Mo, what you drinking? I dig the mug, yo. You know what, Mo? This is actually just hot water, warm water at this point. I have some tea brewing here. It's definitely ready to go, but I want to finish this water before I get to the tea. And the tea is ginger turmeric, my favorite right now. I cannot get enough of it. Kimmy says, for me, it's trust. I care about more than support. If someone betrays my trust, I'm done. No second chances. That's interesting, Kimmy. I think for me, um, I think I have a high tolerance for trust being compromised. And that's probably not a good thing. I think that ties into the people pleasing thing and being like, well, let's reconcile, let's work on this. Like, and if someone is willing to reconcile and learn from the experience, then I'm very likely to not only forgive, but to um, like move on. Now, I'm not going to forget, right? It's not like you can't forget, but forgiveness is something that I personally think is a really important thing just for my own mental health. So I think though that trust is part of support. Like how can you provide support or receive some support from someone that you don't trust? Drew, I think being on these drugs can sometimes make it seem like a person doesn't care about you either because it changes you. Yeah, I agree with you, Drew. It's a really, no pun intended. Actually, I'm not even going to say that. It's a really hard thing to accept that drugs do change people. And it's so sad. It's so sad when you really see value in someone and could see potential in a friendship or relationship with somebody and they're just not themselves. It's heartbreaking to see that. It makes me appreciate though that I've been focusing on my recovery and it makes me really sad actually to think about how I must have acted um to like there was a previous partner I was with many years ago We were engaged to be married, and he hated that I smoked marijuana, but I would do it anyways, like in his presence, because I had to have it. And looking back, now that I am seeing, yeah, now that I'm in recovery and I see other people around me using and how it changes their personality, it makes me really sad that I had to behave that way just to feel okay around him. Granted, I think it was the best thing that we moved on from each other, but it just makes me sad to think that I couldn't abstain from the drugs, even though I knew and he communicated to me that he didn't like the way that I was on them. But I learned from it. I'm here now, so that's good. I'm proud of myself for that. Hardcore drugs, I think, is what he means. Most subs make it to where you can't truly judge what's going on. Your truth barometer is off in a sense. Hmm. I've never heard that before. Artie, it's pretty embarrassing what I'm doing. I'm essentially just trying to find people like you, Tara, on the internet. It honestly feels wrong, but here I am. What feels wrong about it, Artie? I'm here to provide support to people like you. Like um I honestly want to create a community where we can be ourselves, we can be honest with each other, we can grow from each other, focus on creating space for good. Um, that's the topic of this live stream today. So I'm so happy that you're here, Artie. I'm so happy that you found me and this community because I think you add value to this community. And your honesty is greatly appreciated. I'm glad you're here, Artie. And thanks for letting me call you Artie. I like that nickname. Drew, I think in the beginning, all the red flags are usually there. For me, I just choose to ignore them because I try to see the best in people. I can so relate to this, Drew. I agree with you 100%. I tend to ignore the red flags also. But at least you recognize it. Well, let me rephrase that. I want to rephrase what I just said. I think it's wonderful that you can recognize that you've ignored red flags. I too have ignored red flags. And anytime I do that, it doesn't end up well. I'm glad you brought that up because, in terms of reconciliation, like we can reconcile with someone, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those behaviors are going to change. So I think you make a really good point in terms of discernment and focusing on relationships that are supportive, reciprocal, and healthy. It's important to observe behaviors early on in the relationship so as to protect ourselves from being hurt later on. I want I it's I like to focus on the things I really like about people though too, even if the relationship goes south in my like gratitude journal or just even in my mind, I will still pick out the things that I like about that person because I think the probability of me finding that in the next person or friend or interaction increases when I shift my focus to that. If you're just coming in, welcome. It's so nice to see you. We are talking about making space for good in life. To recap, I recently have run into some turbulence in my life. I'm totally okay. I'm happy it happened because it gives me the opportunity to shift my focus to things that I want in my life and to make space for good. So, we've been talking about learning from the experience, letting go of things that are in the way of me creating what I want, and shifting my focus to relationships being supportive, reciprocal, and healthy. So, in the comments, if you'd like to introduce yourself, if you're needing some support and you want to share what you're going through, I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm looking forward to hearing what you're going through. If you have ideas for how to create space in your life to let good things in, I want to know about it because this is what I'm focusing on right now. Turmeric. But isn't there an R in between the U and the M? Is it a Mandela effect? No way. Are you kidding me? That's interesting. You don't pronounce the R, or so they say. Get that R out of the question, Morrison. Okay, I'll say just for you. I'm not a people pleaser or anything, but just for you, I'll say turmeric. Wait, so which one was the Mandela effect? Did they add the R in and that's the Mandela effect? Get your PepsiCo out of my Coke. So Kimmy and Mo are bantering right now. Kimmy loves Pepsi. She took a poll in one of her lives, and everyone else is on Team Coke. So I don't drink soda anymore, but when I did, I drank Diet Coke. Marky says, long time no see, Mo. I think long time no see because Marky's been had his nose in a book. Marky just recently passed some really important tests, and we are so proud of you, Marky. Mo, yeah, you're not a narc. I agree. I mean, I'm not a therapist. I wouldn't actually be able to make a diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder, but Mo, um, you've got some qualities I think that are would be in opposition to that. Yeah, no, you're not. Turmeric. It's always been turmeric, darn it. Isn't it pronounced? But look though, on my tea bag, it says turmeric. There's an R on it. It's backwards, it looks like, but it says turmeric. There's an R, even though it's backwards, you can see there's an R. Artie, it feels wrong because I know I wouldn't be here if you weren't a girl. I have good guy friends. It's the lack of emotional connection with women that really stings, and that makes me feel guilty. Well, thanks for sharing that, Artie. Uh, that's a really interesting comment. I'm wrapping my head around it right now. I can relate to having I can relate to having different connections with men and women. I think that that's pretty normal to have different, there's like you connect differently with different um, genders. I hesitate to use the word gender. I don't know if that's the correct term anymore. But personally, what I'm going through with creating space is um, around strengthening my relationships with both men and women. And so I commend you for being here and for being honest about what you're looking to accomplish here. I think it takes courage to say what you just said. And I really want to tip my hat to you for sharing that. Kimmy says, yeah, I'm on my own team. Always hashtag solo. I've spent a lot of time solo myself. I'm doing my best to connect with people both online because I feel this is a safe space to connect. And like to what Artie was saying, this is a safe space to connect with people of the opposite gender. I don't know if I'm using that term right now, but or people of all different genders. How about that? We'll say that people of all different genders. I also would like to expand my network of in-person connections, and that's something that I have made a goal around in 2024. And I think part of this turbulence that I'm experiencing is reinforcing um, my desire to have supportive, reciprocal, and healthy relationships. That's a really important part, I think, because we can have friendships and relationships, but like, are they healthy? Are they reciprocal? To Kimmy's point, like, is there trust there? Marky says Coke over Pepsi too. Oh, that's what Kimmy was talking about. Yeah, I'm on my own team, always solo. Yeah, about the team Pepsi. Kimmy says, "Don't put me in the corner, you Pepsi haters." Oh, you've got a joiner, Kimmy. Woo! You've got a joiner. Mr. Drew Rinker is on Team Pepsi. Yeah, it does have a sweeter taste. That's why I liked Diet Coke more. Again, it's been probably a decade since I've drank a Diet Coke, and it kind of makes my cheeks pucker a little bit when I think about it. But like if I had to choose, I would choose Diet Coke over Diet Pepsi. No disrespect, Kimmy and Drew. I love you both very much, but in terms of my people pleasing, I will not switch from Team Coke to Pepsi in order to people please. That's one hard boundary I have. Get out, Pepsi drinkers. Now, this is an inclusive environment. Everyone is welcome here, regardless of your Coke and Pepsi choice. It took the download. It took the download. Can you expand on that, Marky? I'm missing that one. Kimmy, your tea bag has been my mystified bibbity boppity boo. Has been mystified. Bibbity boppity boo. I used to love that movie when I was little. Yeah, Kimmy's psyched. Thanks, Drew. You can be my new best friend, she says. Nice to know. Man, the banter is real in here today, but I dig it. Jill in the house. Hey, Jill. Nice to see you as always, friend. How are you doing today? We are talk about we are talk about we are talking about making space for what's good in life. And I have been telling people that I experienced some turbulence in my personal life over the past 24 hours. And so I am choosing to shift focus onto supportive, reciprocal, and healthy relationships. I'm so happy to report that I have the perspective to be able to do that. And so the chat has been sharing some strategies for shifting perspective and making room for what's good in life, or talking about what they want to draw in, what they want to create in, the upcoming weeks, months, year. So I'd be interested to see what you have to say about that, Jill, and anybody who just joined, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. And if you've been here and you're chilling, debating about Pepsi versus Coke, I still am interested to hear if there's anything you want to add about what you want to create in your life, what you want to make space for. Bring it. Marky and Mo, are you saying cut it out? The Pepsi? Drew, there is good women out there looking for the same values, bro. It's just really rare. I think, yeah, you make a good point. I think these days, it is rare to find people who want supportive, reciprocal, and healthy relationships. I mean, I think there's a lot more than I can probably imagine. I just have been so focused on improving my relationships with the wrong people. I think personally, I'm just going to tell on myself and say that I'm guilty of that. And so to shift my focus now to establishing relationship with people that are healthy, both men and women, is progress for me. And I'm really happy to be able to say that that is how I'm moving through this situation. Ooh, Kimmy retracted a message. It must have been a typo. She doesn't do that very often. Jill says, "You guys are great. You guys are great. I agree." Kimmy, take your scissors and shove them up your ziggy with a wava brush. What is a wawa brush? Are you talking about the gas station wawa? Drew's laughing at Kimmy. Marky's identifying as a he him. That's surprising. I'm just kidding, Marky. I'm not surprised. Mo, my pronouns are IDC. What does IDC stand for? I don't care. Kimmy, sorry I got inappropriate for a memento. My bad. Kimmy, I'm just glad you're here, friend. It's nice to see you joking around and present. Yeah, all is forgiven. Down home, I just saw, oh, I lost my spot, but I did see down home. Yeah, down home's in the house, says hi. Hey, down home. I'm glad you're here, man. Down home, how I don't know if you heard, you probably did hear my explanation of what we've been talking about here. We're talking about making space for good to come into our life, dropping dead weight, making space. What do you want to drop in your life? What do you want to bring in? I never trust a Pepsi drinker. This goes deep. I didn't realize the rivalry between Coke and Pepsi drinkers was such a big deal. Drew, everyone is drinking, or everyone is drinking extra friendly tonight. Everyone is extra friendly tonight. Yeah, I'm digging the vibe. Thanks for you're helping me lighten my mood. Because I've been, even though I've been focusing on what I want to create in life, like um, I think it can be challenging to let go of things that like even taking things to the thrift store for me is sometimes difficult, letting go of things, being like, this has stains on it, I need to throw it away type of thing. It's like hard to let things go sometimes. Getting the tea that's on deck ready to roll. I've had the lid on it, so it's going to be hot, 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 hot. I'm going to have to let it cool off in this mug. Mo says, we're drinking our Coke and feeling good, Drew. Kimmy, well, they're butthurt because Coke damages your critical thinking skills, so they know not what they say. Is that true? I don't think it's true. I think Kimmy's just being clever and funny. Coca-Cola, that is. Of course of course we know you're talking about Coca-Cola. Like actual Coca-Cola, the beverage. Misinformation. People are snarky tonight, but it's helpful. Marky, like the stream, yo, please. Thank you, Marky. Yeah, hit that like button. It helps me out. That's how we get more lovely people like yourselves in here and spread the message, spread the love, spread the Coke versus Pepsi debate. The great debate. Like water out the toilet? Jill says very rare, especially for my age. What's rare? Ginger ale? Jill, I agree. Ginger ale is, in my opinion, the way to go. I would love to make ginger ale on my own. I need like a CO2 machine. Ginger ale is legit. I would pick ginger ale over Coke or Pepsi any day. Yeah, Coke is good for cleaning toilets. Uh-huh. Pepsi has what plants crave. Mo, like water out the toilet. So Mo, you can't. I think you're asking about cleaning the toilet. Um, like you can literally use Coke on the toilet brush to clean out a toilet, or just dump some in the toilet bowl and clean out. I think you can clean like car batteries that have exploded with Coke also. Yeah, Drew, I don't know, it cleans really well, especially rusty stuff. Pepsi, the soy boy drink. Y'all are so passionate about this Coke and Pepsi thing. It's really funny. Drew, I want to drop 20 pounds. Drew, right on. What are some ideas you have for making that a reality? Jasmine in the house. Hey, Jasmine, it's nice to see you roll through. Jasmine says, "Hi, Tara. Just logged into my YouTube the first time in ages and you're live. Great timing. Just dropping by to say hi." I am so glad that you did, Jasmine. It's always nice to see your face. Mo said Pepsi's used for jailhouse fried rice. Sounds delicious. Marky, the line in the sand has been drawn. Indeed. Team ginger ale with Jill. Team ginger ale. Kimmy, I'm going to post a study I read that shows men who drink Coke make the worst lovers. Maybe that's part of the screening process I need for my supportive, reciprocal, and healthy relationships, Kimmy. Marky, I want to rock climb with Tara near the redwood forest. Probably nothing would make me happier right now, Marky. That sounds like a deal. I will show up with bells on if you want to do that. And would you want to surf while we're at it? Because Big Sur, you could do both of the. There's not much rock climbing in Big Sur, but there's good hiking and good surfing. There's a redwood forest in Yosemite though, and there's a lot of good climbing there. More misinformation from a Pepsi shill. Oh my goodness. Things are getting intense. Team ginger ale. Drew wants to read Kimmy's study about how Coke drinkers make the worst lover. Make the worst men who drink Coke make the worst lovers. Jill, no one in my family cares that I'm sober. That's an interesting comment, Jill, and I'm glad that you shared that. That must be challenging to deal with that because certainly sobriety is not for the faint of heart and it's a huge accomplishment. Um, I think in the beginning of my sobriety, people didn't realize the depth of where I was, what I had done to my life when I was in it. A lot of people didn't realize how bad it was because I put on a happy face and took pictures for Instagram and could turn on a happy face for an Instagram story for a few seconds. People didn't realize how bad it was for me. But I think with time and um, reconciling my relationships with the people in my family, they now realize how bad it was. And I do receive support now from like my immediate family. A lot of my family doesn't really know because it's kind of like hush hush in my family. Although they might know, people tend to talk. I don't really know who knows and who doesn't. But my point is just that with time, it seems to have gotten um, like people have tended to see my life improve and my relationships improve. And so they're taking more notice now of where I'm at in life and what I've accomplished because of time. I don't know if that's helpful at all. I hope it's helpful, Jill. And just know that you're not alone. Like, I care that you're sober. I know it's not the same as like your family caring, but you're definitely not alone. And I'm really proud of you. Kimmy, I'd post the study, but I lost it. Google removed it because it made too many people butthurt. Kimmy, I really appreciate you bringing in your sense of humor today. It's nice to see that from you. Hashtag smell this or hashtag smell that. Drew, I know this is really, really bad, but I can only think of one Coke that's better than Pepsi. I just don't, I don't do it anymore. Same, Drew. I don't do that anymore either. Thank God. Jill, single guys my age are rare. Yeah, same here. But at my age, the ones who got married early are now getting divorced. And I'm not opposed to dating a guy who would be on his second marriage. I do want to get married, y'all, to the right person. I think when I say it though, when I say that out loud, I start getting nervous. And I'm like, well, but there's got to be a right person out there if the desire is there. Anne Marie says, my FIL was a diehard Pepsi fan. FIL, former, my father-in-law? Father-in-law? Am I right about that? My father-in-law was a diehard Pepsi fan. When he started buying Coke for me, I knew he loved me. But my stomach won't handle it now. I don't have an opinion though outside of that. Team ginger ale, Anne Marie. Does your stomach handle ginger ale, Anne Marie? I'm not trying to solve your problem at all, but I personally don't. I'm not a huge fan of soda anymore, but I will drink a ginger ale from time to time. And Lacroix, sparkling water. I love sparkling water. Hey Mo, hope you've been well, says Jasmine. It's so nice to see you in here, Jasmine. If you're still here, I'm so glad you are. It all tastes the same to me. Really, Jasmine, I think they taste so different. Oh my goodness. Is that from Mo? Is that from what's that movie called Idiocracy? Mo says, doing well, Jasmine. How's the down under? Oh, I missed one from Marky. Why come no tattoo? Who doesn't have a tattoo? I have one tattoo on my foot. Do y'all have tattoos? Do you have tattoos, Marky? My ex-wife was tatted. I think that they're talking about Idiocracy. I've never seen Idiocracy. Jasmine, down under is good. Summer now, so really hot. How's things on your end? Find a man who isn't afraid to go slip and sliding. Yeah, that sounds fun, Kimmy. I'm guessing that you're like literally talking about slip and sliding, and that would be really fun. Tala in the house. Hey, Tala. Always nice to see you, friend. Mo says it's cold where he's at. Okay, so I'm gonna take this time. Oh, let me take one sip real quick. Hmm. I have a question for y'all, but I'm gonna lead and I'm gonna start first. So my question is, what are three things? This is gonna be kind of cheesy, so pull out the crackers to go with this cheese. What are three things that you appreciate today, right now? Three things. It doesn't have to be a noun. In fact, I didn't choose nouns. I chose, and I'll lead. Number one, you probably can guess this. I appreciate my supportive, healthy relationships. And I see Alex just walked in. Hey, Alex, good timing. We're talking about making space for good things in life. And so I wrote three things on this list that I appreciate. And I'd be interested in hearing things that y'all appreciate too. So, number one, supportive, healthy relationships. Number two, detachment from people, places, and things that don't line up with what I want. So, the ability to detach myself. It's been challenging for me to do that once I get to a certain level of closeness. But I'm thankful that today, with all of the everything I've been through, with all the therapy I've done, all the meditation and prayer, that today I'm able to detach from people, places, and things that don't line up with what I want. And I appreciate honesty. That's my third thing. I appreciate having the ability to be honest with people I care about. And I appreciate people being honest with me. I really, really value honesty these days. So, what do y'all appreciate? I want to hear your list. So, Artie says, Drew, I know there's good women out there. I have some healing to do first before trying to date, though. And that might be years. And platonic connections seem actually harder. It might be years. It might be sooner than you think, Artie. Do you want it to be years? I value platonic connections these days. It can't. There can be a fine line, I think, with platonic relationships, but I think they can be healthy. Jasmine's going to Kangaroo Island. Jasmine says, Tara, do you want kids one day? With the right person. Jasmine, if I end up, for lack of a better term, shacking up with a stand up guy who would be a great father, which lately I've been realizing and recognizing that if a guy doesn't want children, it's a turnoff to me. And so that leads me to believe that I do want children, but I've never wanted children for the sake of having them. I always think to myself, if I meet someone who I'd want to do that with and he'd want to do that with me, then we'll do it. Um, I don't know if I'll be able to have children of my own by the time I meet someone and we're ready. So I think about fostering or adoption from time to time, but I think I do want children, Jasmine. It's just, I don't want to do it alone. I have no desire to be a single mother. And I know there's always a chance that, something could happen and I'll end up a single mom. But my desire would be to meet a partner who would be a good father. And then potentially, when we're ready, to have children, whatever that looks like for us. Nobody's ever asked me that on here before, Jasmine. Uh, I think Drew is saying that was an awesome live stream this morning. I think I saw Tala went live this morning. I missed that, but I think he's saying Tala's live was good. Kimmy, yes, proudly ignorant. I'm in the same boat. This chapter is this chapter in my life is called My Turn, and I'm unapologetic AF about it. Yeah, of my life. Mo, my bad, Jasmine. I have a unique brain. True that, Mo. You do have a unique brain. Does anyone drink Dr. Pepper? It just tastes like medicine to me. Dr. Pepper is demonic. Wow. That's when Alex dude came in. Tala says, Mo, can't wait for our next Bible study, bro. I thoroughly enjoy studying the Bible. You know what? I've been participating in that, and I've also been enjoying it quite a bit. Kimmy says, solo Bible study. Jasmine, I appreciate my family. Okay, awesome. Jasmine, thank you so much for sending this. I want to hear about the gratitude. I need to hear about the gratitude right now. So Jasmine says, I appreciate my family. I appreciate being able to feel happy and calm and positive mental health. I appreciate having money and time. What a good list. I also appreciate my family. That's a really good reminder. I also appreciate being able to feel happy and calm and positive mental health. Yes, thank God for that. And I also appreciate having money and time. Jasmine, thank you for that. I hope that it's okay with you that I borrowed your gratitude list and am internalizing it as we speak. It's really helpful. Mo is thankful that Kimmy is studying. Tala, I had a good read this morning. God is good all the time. I appreciate feeling zero anxiety today. That's wonderful, Mo. That's fantastic news. Drew appreciates his Lord and Savior, family, and this community of genuine people. That's wonderful too. I'm going to internalize that list and Mo's list of feeling zero anxiety, meaning I feel at peace. I do feel at peace, especially after I meditated today. I've meditated twice now in different forms, and I feel calm. I feel at peace. Drew appreciates, yep, and I'll use the term God. I use the term God for my higher power, just because I don't have a better word for it at this point in time. But I'm a work in progress, and I know Mo uses I am. I like that too. I just feel like it makes more sense to other people when I say God, but I'm also working on letting go of making sense to other people. So I also appreciate this community of people. If you're here right now, thank you so much for being here and sharing this time. If you're just joining, welcome. We are talking about creating room for good in life, for space in life. And we're talking about our gratitude list right now. So I listed off 3 things that I'm grateful for. And the chat is talking about things that they're grateful for. I want to know what you're grateful for. Please feel free to drop a comment and let me know. Okay, so Drew says, I hate being lied to. That's definitely a big one for me. If someone continues to tell me the truth, then I don't doubt what they say, no matter how strange it sounds. Our word really means a lot as people. I'm right there with you, Drew. And that's something that I'm working through myself is because there's different kinds of lying, right? There's straight up being lied to, and then there's lying by omission. And neither one feels good to be on the receiving end of that. And so, again, I am open to reconciliation if it means that I can have a supportive, reciprocal, and healthy relationship. Then I'm open to reconciliation. I agree though that it does not feel good to be lied to in whatever form that happens. Marky, I think loyalty is number one for me. Yep, I agree. Loyalty is at the top of my list also. You know what? I'm actually going to add that word loyalty to my list. So now it's supportive, reciprocal, healthy. I think loyal ties into healthy, but I want to highlight the loyal aspect. So thanks for that inspiration, Marky. Lost my spot. Okay, there we go. Uh, it's always good to start our days off with a prayer and the word of God, says Tala. Drew, yeah, Tara, kids are both a blessing and stressful at the same time, but I love my kids no matter what they do. Of course, and I'm sure I would love my children too if I had them. I just don't like I genuinely don't know if I ever will, but I think I would like to with the right person. Mo, I appreciate understanding. I feel I'm pretty dang understanding, so I like when people don't write people off. Yeah, that mode to me, I'm looking through a certain perspective based on what I've been through in the past 24 hours. I think understanding is an important part of reconciliation. It has to go both ways, and that's where the reciprocal part comes in. It's like there's no point. Understanding doesn't go very far if there's not going to be a reciprocal reconciliation. Drew says, yeah, coffee's always good and probably be one addiction I'll have for life. I love coffee too, personally. I don't understand how some people don't drink it. But I do have periods where I stop drinking it and drink tea. So I do get it. I'm just not on that wave right now. I'm very much on the coffee wave. Okay, Mo says, I appreciate understanding. I feel I'm pretty. Oh, I read that already. Mine is morose. What's morose? What's morose, Kimmy? More, more, more. Marky, me too, Drew. I'll never leave caffeine. I don't think I'll leave caffeine either. Because even when, well, there have been periods where I've gone no caffeine, but it's so comforting to me. It's like relaxing. Jasmine's heading off. Hope everyone has a lovely day and night and a positive week. Much love. Jasmine, I'm so glad you stopped by. I don't think you're here anymore, but nice to see you stop in. Kimmy, I'm thankful for my cats because if I didn't have them, I'd have done some really stupid crap long ago. Well, that's wonderful, Kimmy, that you appreciate your cats. I know they're a big part of your life, and that's beautiful. They keep me alive. That's awesome. I appreciate genuine people who are honest and seek the Lord, word of God. That's a good one, Tala. Thanks for sharing that. G'day, Jasmine, says Marky. Drew, I want to do the Bible study with y'all. I really need to follow the Discord better. Well, hopefully Mo sees that comment, Drew, and hooks you up with the information. Jasmine, zero anxiety is a great one too. Anxiety is a huge thing for me, and the days I don't feel it and feel calmness instead is a huge relief. Yeah, yeah. So focusing on no anxiety to me is challenging because then I'm focused on anxiety nonetheless, but thinking about, all right, what's on the other side of anxiety? It's to me calm and being at peace. So I like to, like what Jasmine, I like to feel calm and at peace. I appreciate the opportunity gives us to feel joy. Yeah, Tala, I appreciate that too. It's nice to be able to feel good things in life. Tala, appreciate this community. Me too. Tala, thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. And if you're just joining us, we are talking about creating space for the good in life. And we've just shared some things that we appreciate in the chat. So if you want to participate, let us know who you are. Let us know what you appreciate in life. If you're here for some support and you don't feel like you appreciate much right now, please tell us what you're going through. We're happy to support you. I'll recap what I'm thankful for. I appreciate supportive, healthy, and loyal relationships. I modified my appreciation statement because of what Marky said. I appreciate detachment from people, places, and things that don't line up with what I want. And I appreciate honesty, both being able to be honest and to receive honest feedback and just honesty about whatever it is that's going on. Artie says, Tara, do you ever feel like honesty is a weakness? It feels like totally one of my biggest weaknesses. I tend to overshare if I don't restrict myself. Well, Artie, I think it can go either way. I think they say that our greatest strength is tied to our greatest weakness. And certainly my honesty has caused some problems in my personal life over the past 24 hours. But on the flip side of that, I had a friend who was incredibly honest with me and it brought us closer. I think, anyways. It was hard to receive the honesty, but ultimately, I think it was a positive thing. Not everybody has the ability to receive the honest truth. And so, yes, I think it can be a weakness if it's not even that it was a weakness though, because I wouldn't actually change anything about what happened in the past 24 hours on my end. I think I'm proud of myself for being honest. But I might have I might have come at the situation in a different from a different angle. Um, to answer your question, I think that honesty is a strength, and I think honesty is always the best policy. And I would rather honesty is my number one strength on this strength test that I took in peer support specialist training. Honesty is the number one thing for me. I think if someone's not able to receive honesty, then what does it mean about the friendship in general? You know, so I think sure it could be a weakness to be honest, but I think the strength that comes with being honest and the potential to improve the healthy relationships, like healthy people appreciate honesty. Healthy people are able to handle honesty too, even if it hurts. So that's my perspective on that. I think it can cause problems if a person is not in a place to be able to receive the honesty. But I think that if you're honest with someone and it's not received well, then it could be an indicator that the relationship is not healthy. Drew says, honestly, I appreciate someone who is a butthole and honest over someone who talks trash behind your back. 100%, Drew. 100% agree with you on that. Drew, have we met? Just kidding. The truth is always better, even if it hurts. Yep, absolutely, 100%. Nice. Mo's gonna send that link out. Jill, I don't like my son. Hmm. Jill, do you want to expand on that at all? Do you feel like telling us more about what's going on there? Keep losing my spot. Yeah, Marky says you don't have to like him, but you love him, I'm sure, Jill. I wonder what Jill has to say about that. Mo, I appreciate how far I've come in 10 years. 10 years ago, I was on pain pills and uppers. That's a beautiful revelation, Mo. And I echo that. I also appreciate how far I've come. I'm coming up on 3 years in recovery, and I'm finally starting to see some serious progress. Things are really starting to take form in my life. I'm feeling better. It's been a long journey. And honestly, the past year of my recovery has been more difficult than the first 2 years. I'm just being frank. Sometimes people call me Frank. I'm proud of you, Mo. You have come a long way in 10 years, and it's a pleasure to join you on your journey. The world is dead 2024. What is that? Where does that come from, Marky? Mo, I have to sometimes remind myself how far I've come. Yeah, as do we all. Rachel, hey Rachel in the house. Rachel says I'm super late, but I'm listening. It's totally okay, Rach. You've got a lot going on, and it's nice to see your face in here. Mo, I get along with peeps that are brutally honest. Don't like things to be sugar coated. Well, Mo, I think that you and I, maybe that's why we get along so great. I've never, well, maybe I have been in situations where I felt like I needed to be honest with you. And I think you have received it well, and I appreciate that. Rachel's here now. We can party. Whoop whoop, says Marky. Mo, I'm in the portal of peace. Same, Mo. I've managed to get here. It was not easy to get here based on how the last 24 hours have gone, but I choose to be in the portal of peace, and it's pretty comfy in here. Yeah, ride the light wave. That's right, Marky. Yep, ascend. I like the waves. Yeah, Rachel likes the portal too. Me too. Mo, me too. We have to sometimes close portals to the past to open portals of peace. Yo, I think that's a really that's one of my favorite statements of this evening. Yes, sometimes we have to close portals, doors, um, let go, forgive things that have happened in the past, and in order to open up to other good things and make space for it's like I can have a wardrobe full of clothes like I have right now, but I'm like, I don't want some of the clothes that are in my closet. They're not serving me. I don't wear them, or I'm tired of them. And so, how am I going to get new clothes in my closet? I can't fit any more clothes in my closet. It's jam packed full. So, I'm going to have to get rid of some of those clothes in order to make room for the new ones. Marky, we love so long. Yeah, Rach, love you long time. And everyone in here. I love you all long time. And I'm so glad that y'all are here. Drew says, for sure, Mo, I used to struggle with looking at the past too much. Yeah, I think it can be helpful to see how far we've come, but I think uh, analyzing where we're at right now, and even sometimes where we want to go, not too much in the future, but more, I would rather, for me personally, I'd rather look forward to where I'm going rather than focus on the past and where I'm coming from. But sometimes it can be helpful, and certainly for conversation's sake, for um, explaining how far we've come, that can be helpful to some people if they're interested. Tala, for me, I'll be honest, regardless of the next person's response, um, be it negative or positive. Yeah, Tala, I really value honesty. And, somebody can't handle the honesty and it causes problems and there's no reconciliation, then I think it's better to let it go. And Rachel agrees. And that goes both ways. If someone's being honest with me, I can choose to receive that or not, and it might be really painful, but people are only honest because they care and want to see good for us. It hurts sometimes though. It hurts both ways. It can hurt to be honest and it can hurt to receive it. Definitely. But I think it either brings relationships closer or it ends them. But I think, like I've been saying, reconciliation is a really important part of a healthy relationship. Artie says, I'm not sure my brain is capable of dishonesty. This gets me in trouble all the time. It feels like we live in a world of lies to conform to, and I'm terrible at it. Well, I don't think that's a bad thing, Artie. Hon honestly, I would rather I would rather have a relationship with somebody who's brutally honest, even if it hurts sometimes, over someone who's dishonest or lies by omission. Mo, I had to cast my cares on Christ last night. I feel we try to carry the load alone, and it only weighs us down. Good for you, Mo. Laying it down. Don't carry that stuff with you. It's not worth it. And Mo feels so much better today. I echo that, Mo. I also have thrown some things out and it feels better today. Yeah, lies equals empty. I agree. Mo, I'm gonna start calling you Frank if that's cool. I would love it if you called me Frank, Mo. Call me Frank all day, all night, anytime. Rach loves you all a long time. Rach says, I always say you get the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's a real relationship. If you can't take the good and the bad and the ugly, it's probably not gonna last because we've all got all those things. Jill, I'm just crazy. Hard to accept that. Well, I don't use that word lightly, Jill, but I think we're all a little cray cray sometimes. You're not alone. Artie, people are honest because they care. Yep, I like that a lot. I do feel like that's what caring is about. People who care about will tell you what they really think. Absolutely. 100%. Even when it hurts. I sometimes would feel like people hate me for no reason, and that used to really bother me. And I try to figure out why. I think that's another reason why I stopped caring what people think. Right on, Drew. That's a healthy perspective to have. And I've gone through that same phase. Well, it was like a long period of my life where I really cared what other people think. And, I think that's where my people pleasing stems from. But people pleasing doesn't always make people like you either. In fact, it can be quite the opposite and it can set you up to be taken advantage of or abused. So I think it's a wonderful balance you found to stop caring what people think. It's very freeing. I still do care sometimes, like I haven't got to the point where I don't care what I wear or um I mean sometimes I leave the house in my pajamas, but not if I'm going somewhere, like to a meeting or something like that. So to that extent I do care what people think, but I think there's a healthy balance there. Mo, yeah, I can't worry about what people think of me. It's their own opinion and I'm okay with not being liked. Me too, Mo. And I think when you value honesty, that's something that you have to be comfortable with. Is like, well, I'm going to tell you what I need, and if you can't handle it, then it's like if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. And if you don't like me because I was honest, then what does that say about the relationship? Drew, people can smell happiness on you from a mile away, and sometimes they hate that and want you to feel bad like they do. That's a really great point, Drew. And it can be if you're the happy one, if you're the one that's like legitimately smiling and not just putting on a happy face, or even if you are just doing your best to put on a happy face, it can be really hard to be on the receiving end of that. It can be really hard to be the one who is uncomfortable. Like I've been in really low spots before. Like when I got to the safe house back in 2000, um, when was it? 2021. That's when I got into recovery. Was when I ended up at the safe house because they drug tested me. And the director was some days so bubbly and cheery and happy. And I was just like, how can you? Like, do you understand what the people and the women in this house are going through? It was all survivors of domestic violence or human trafficking. And it's like, do you understand? Personally, I just full disclosure, I was exploited for labor, which is technically human trafficking, even though I'm still to this day in denial that what happened to me fits the description of human trafficking. I tend to say that I was exploited for labor. But anyways, my point is just that she would be so happy and cheery and bubbly some days, and it would really trigger me because I was not okay. As I've recovered and gone through my journey to getting well again, I like seeing happy people. I like seeing bubbly. I like talking to the director of the safe house and hearing her be cheery and bubbly. And it doesn't trigger me like it used to because I've gotten better. That's interesting, Mo. Mo doesn't believe in happiness, but joy, yes. Okay. Happiness is fleeting, joy is despite the circumstances. Interesting perspective. Okay, so let me take this sip of water and see what else I've got here because I wrote a few other things down. Okay, so something else I wrote down in terms of making room for good in life. This is less about emotions, this next thing, and it's more about like things. And so for me personally, I find when I declutter and organize my environment that I feel better. So, in terms of allowing good to come in my life, for me, an organized, decluttered space is important. Let me know if that's a thing for you. Let me know if it's something you're working on. I'm curious about that. I touched on this earlier, but we're to this point on my list. And if you're just joining, welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. We're talking about making room for the good in life, making space for good, like in perpetuity, or making space for good, like for the good things in life. And one other way that I make space, I mentioned it already, but I'm going to mention it again for the people who are just joining or as a reminder that for me, meditation and prayer are extremely impactful. It's a great way to get the chatter to stop. It's a great way to get the momentum of gnarly feelings to quiet down and to shift my perspective to what I want. Which today, again, if you're just joining or you're watching the replay, well, if you're watching the replay, you've seen everything. You probably haven't. You're probably not watching anymore if you're watching the replay because we're repeating things now. But or maybe you are, and if you are, hi, I'm so happy that you're here. But meditation and prayer are great ways to shift focus, in my opinion, from what's not wanted to what's wanted. And then one other thing that I have on my list in terms of how to shift focus from what's wanted or from what's not wanted to what's wanted is deep breathing. So this could technically be part of meditation or even prayer. I don't tend to focus on breathing during either meditation or prayer. Everybody does it differently. And so if you do focus on breathing, cool. Uh, when I do breathing exercises, I tend to just do breathing exercises, and it's kind of like a meditation. But I think deep breathing can be a really good way to let go of things that are no longer serving us, including emotions and or things, like I need to clean out my closet and take things to Goodwill and or Catholic Charities or something and make some space for some new stuff. And I probably could use a few deep breaths before I do that because I'm oddly attached to some of the things that I don't even wear anymore. Tala says truth and honesty allows people to adjust and move on with life, allowing the next person to make an honest move due to the honest words that was said to him or her. Yeah, I had to read that again, Tala, because but what you're saying, I agree with. And sometimes the next move is not what we would have wanted, but if one person chose to be honest and the other person chose to not receive that, then there's nothing that the honest person can do if the other person doesn't want to reconcile. If the other person doesn't appreciate the honesty, then nothing can really be done to save that relationship, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. Rach says, I always take a shower and wash my hair to wash the negative stuff away. Decluttering is so important for my mental health. Yep, absolutely. I love how you talk about the shower and washing the negative stuff off of you, right? So it's not something I ever think of when I take a shower. I'm always just thinking of cleaning myself and feeling fresh. But you're right. We are washing the gunk off of us. I would like to focus more on that, like allowing positivity, like focusing on positivity in the shower because it is such. I think it is a powerful place to focus on positive intentions. Maddie in the house. Hey, Maddie, nice to see you. He says, Tara, my love, my lady, how are you doing? I am doing well. Matt, we are talking about creating space for good things in life or just creating space for good, like in perpetuity. we have talked about things that we appreciate. We've talked about how I've shifted focus from something that wasn't very much fun to go through. I'm shifting focus now to having relationships that are supportive, reciprocal, healthy, and loyal. So Marky threw out that loyalty card, and I picked it up because loyalty is a really important aspect of a healthy relationship to me. So even though I've gone through some turbulence the past 24 hours, I am happy to report that I have shifted my focus onto the things that I want. And the most important thing that I'm focusing on right now are healthy relationships. I'm glad you're here, Maddie. It's always nice to see you. And Maddie, people in the chat have talked about what they're appreciative of. So I'd be interested, Maddie, if you're still here, to hear what you are appreciative of. Three things, and I'll recap for you once I read the rest. Well, I'll recap now for you, just to get your wheels turning. So my appreciation and peace list was, uh, I'm appreciative of supportive and healthy relationships that are in my life and the ones that are coming to me. I'm appreciative of detachment from people, places, and things that don't line up with what I want. And I'm appreciative of honesty, both being honest and receiving honesty. So tell me if you're just joining and you haven't dropped your appreciation list in the chat. I want to know what you are appreciative of. You can give me one thing, you can give me three things, you can give me 10 if you want. I love hearing what you're appreciative of. It helps me to appreciate those things too. Some people dropped some things in the chat earlier, and I internalized those things, and it felt nice. Mo says, I wash the clutter in my mind and the world off by reading the Bible. Yeah, that's a really good coping mechanism or strategy. Not coping mechanism, but like it's a good strategy, Mo. Rachel says, like a breath of fresh air. I think Rachel's talking about the shower, like cleaning off the gunk. Maddie says, in the shower, you wash off the gunk and wash off the funk. That's right. That's right. That's funny that I said gunk before I read your comment, Maddie. We're on the same wave. We are on that same wave. Maddie says, I'm about to shift my focus onto a Wawa hoagie. I hope it's good, Maddie. I hope it's good. I've never had a Wawa hoagie before. I've been to a Wawa, but I've never had a Wawa hoagie. We don't have Wawa here. Schoolboy Kai in the house. Hey, Schoolboy Kai. Nice to see you. I don't know if you heard my recap of what we've been talking about here, but the topic is making room for good in life. And so, an exercise that we went through was sharing our appreciation list. So, if you've got three things in life that you are appreciative of, let me know. I have received some great appreciation lists from people and have gotten some inspiration from them. So, I'm really interested to hear what you appreciate. And also, if you want to tell me what you want to let go of, and definitely, I want to hear if you don't want to focus on what you want to let go of, then I'm totally in support of that. If you just want to focus on where you're going and what you want in life, I want supportive, reciprocal, healthy, and loyal relationships. That is what I want. So let me know what you're creating in your life and what you're thankful for. Maddie, I am appreciative that God gave me a very good brain and the ability to detect some of the bullshit motivations of people. Right? Also, I am appreciative that I have a weird sense of humor. You certainly do have a great sense of humor, Maddie, and that's a strength. I think you have a fantastic sense of humor. I love seeing your comments always. Your very good brain makes me think that you have a love of learning, which that's also a strength. Yeah, and that's also a good one, a bullshit detector. Very good quality to have, or very good trait to have. Heather coming in. Hey, Heather, nice to see you. Mo said breathwork, bruh. And then Heather says, hi, Tara. Hi, everyone. I appreciate that I was clear and made it to my first day of the spring semester. Heather, how did it go? And yes, you are clear. What are you like? You're approaching 30 days, aren't you, Heather? How was your first day of the semester? Maddie, I also want healthy and reciprocal relationships. Also, I want Scarlett Johansson. My ex-boyfriend loved Scarlett Johansson. She is a beautiful person. Well, I mean, I don't know her personally, but she seems all right. Yeah, healthy and reciprocal relationships. That's what I'm saying. And Marky made a good point about loyalty. Uh, Such an important part of a healthy relationship. Lying has also come up. You know, there's lying and then there's lying by omission, and both of them hurt relationships equally. So, focusing on healthy and reciprocal relationships that are uh, supportive and loyal is where my brain is at today. Mo used to one or two. Mo's married now, so maybe won't. Uh, Maybe has gotten past his Scarlett Johansson phase. Schoolboy Kai coming in with an appreciation comment. I appreciate that it is 2024 and I can be myself. Yep, you're in a good place for that, Kai, and I like that. I appreciate that I can be myself here too. Thanks everyone for letting me be myself. That's a song. I want to thank you for letting me be myself again. I think I've sang that song on here before. I don't think that's the first time that song has come into my mind. So, um, as we kind of wind things down here, I feel like the plane is probably getting ready to land as things slow down in the chat. I want to remind y'all that what I'm doing right now, instead of focusing on what happened and um, the turbulence, it's like, no, you know what? I'm going to decide what's important to me. And like I've said so many times on this stream already, what's important to me is positive relationships and focusing on appreciation and being at peace. So what's important to me is healthy reciprocal relationships. And then what do I want to let go of? I want to let go of turbulence. Like it's inevitable. Turbulence is going to happen just like on a flight as we land the plane. Turbulence is it's a normal part of life, but how do we move through it? Are we going to reconcile? Is the relationship worth reconciling on both ends? Because one person could want to reconcile and the other person not. But if both people don't want to reconcile, then is it worth holding on to? I don't think so. So letting go of what's not important to me is also where my focus is. But more importantly, where am I going? What do I want to focus on now? And so what I'm focusing on now, uh, even though accepting that turbulence happens can be challenging sometimes, it's bringing me great joy, as Mo would say, to focus on the things that make me feel good, the things that I want in life, the things that I want to come into my life. So I want to give you a opportunity here as we wind up to Type into the chat thing like one thing that you want to see more of this evening. Maybe it's a cup of hot cocoa. Maybe it's a hug or a kiss from your partner. Maybe it's a good conversation with a friend. Or perhaps, I don't know. I could go on and on, but as we land the plane here, as we wrap things up, uh, what's something that you want to do for yourself tonight that will feel good? Heather, it was okay. So Heather's saying it was good today. I feel like my teacher used to be a drill sergeant. Ooh, here we go. Here we go. Buckle up for the semester, Heather. Buckle up. Matt wants to know, Tara, what is your favorite reggae song? You know what, Matt? There is a song. Um, what's it called? There's this song. I don't know if it's technically reggae, but the first thing that comes to mind, my if it is reggae, it's my favorite one for sure. It's called Breaking the Glass. I think it's by The Movement. I think. I don't know if I'll be able to look right now, but let me see if I can. I don't think it's going to let me look right now because my signal's really weak because I've got my wired connection in, so my phone doesn't want to give me signal. But there's this song called Breaking the Glass. I'm pretty sure it's by The Movement. It's awesome. And that's my favorite reggae song. It's kind of a hybrid. It's not like pure reggae, but it's got a reggae vibe to it for sure. Drew says, I can't think of who she is. You'd know her if you saw her, Drew. Iconic. Maddie, that song is by Sly and the Family Stone. Are you talking about Breaking the Glass, Maddie? Because that's not the one I'm thinking of if you are. All right, Schoolboy Kai is going to be watching the Super Bowl Lions versus the Baltimore Ravens. I think that's what he's going to be thinking about. The NBA basketball games tonight, right on, Schoolboy Kai. That's exciting. And Artie says, I appreciate the beauty of nature, the birds and the trees. I appreciate stability in life. Stability is precious. This is hard for me. Still haven't come up with a good third one. That's okay, Artie. I love what you put together. And I'm going to borrow your appreciation and the beauty of nature, or of the beauty of nature. That's a really good one. The birds and the trees, that's more nature. And you appreciate stability. Yeah, stability is a great thing to appreciate. That's not something I've ever put on an appreciation list before, but I'm going to jot that down because that's going to go on my next list. Stability. Appreciation. Thanks, Artie. I appreciate you. Maddie, I need a hug from Tara. Hugs for everybody. I'll give you, here, does that count? Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's now Drew knows who Scarlett Johansson is. I didn't think she had blonde hair though. She at one point, I don't know if she still does, but she switches hair colors. Pouring that tea now, but it's I should have poured it earlier. We're landing the plane here and I'm pouring tea. Maddie, as we land the plane, please put away your TV trays and return your seat to the upright position. Yes, Maddie, thank you for your sense of humor. Artie, Russian rock. I appreciate Russian rock. You know what, Artie? You told me that last time, and I dropped the ball on looking into Russian rock, but making another note to give that a look. My life would not be the same without it. I probably would not even still speak Russian. You speak Russian? That's cool, Artie. Drew, I always kind of had a crush on the Wanda character. And I don't know what I did to make Drew laugh, but I appreciate that, Drew. So, oh, Maddie came with one more comment. Thank you for letting me. Yeah, thank you. Oh, Sly and the Family Stone. I want to thank you. Yeah, that song. Thanks for that. So, everyone, thank you so much for being here. It was a pleasure to talk with you all about making space for the good things in life, whether that be making space for things or making space for good, in perpetuity. I think that making space for good in life is definitely worth the effort and the attention. I would much rather focus on what's going good than the other end of the stick, we'll just say. So I hope that y'all have a good evening. I hope that y'all have a good day tomorrow. And I really appreciate y'all for being here. It's been healing to me to spend some time with you. So thank you for coming and sharing everything that you did. Artie says, this was great. Thank you. Great stream, Tara. I enjoyed the company. And Maddie says, actually, I've moved on from Scarlett Johansson. Now I'm a Keira Knightley man. God is good and Jesus Christ is King, Tella says. So thank you, everyone. It has been a pleasure talking with you, as always. I love you all very much, sincerely and truly. And I hope to talk with you all soon.